Bagsak Philippine market today. Hi guys, this is Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Awesome10X Philippine Market Update. Let's read the Philippine market. So you are seeing that the Philippine market is actually falling 3% down to 6,600. Let's watch what happened in our index. It's now definitely down so far from the 7,000 previous support that is resistance. So you're still seeing that the market in the Philippines continues to be favoring a lot of speculative names. You're seeing that the likes of LIHC up 49%. The likes of PA, ORE, 1 peso, 5 peso, you are seeing that a flurry of actually 199 million volume or 1.2 billion pesos is actually voyeuring here on ACEN, which is Ayala Corporation's energy company. More than that, what exactly happened to the index to fall 3%? Let's go to the index. So for a while now, we have been saying that the market has been frothy, and a lot of your third liners or your tier 4 names have been actually value traded, and some of them are actually being distributed. Now, market value continues to tank. Now it's about 11.65 billion pesos. You've got advancers 91, decliners 133, with foreign net selling of about 3 billion pesos. Today's January 29, 2021. It's the end of the month, and it's a Friday, so just wanted to share to you that every Friday we do have this Awesome10X free Friday classes, and we'd like you to join our 5:30 p.m. It's live streamed as always here on Awesome10X YouTube channel. Now let's read about these losers. You could see that JG Summit 8%, Aboitiz Power 7%, Meralco 6%. Let's take a look at the index movers. You are seeing a huge sell-off on the index names, primarily a very huge drop on index, so it's worth reading about the prices. Security Bank 130, Bloomberry 797, AGI 10 bucks, FGen 30 bucks, Luciatan Group 13, Emperador 10 bucks. The rest it's down. Robinson's Land 19, DMC 523, GT Cap 534, Mega World 382, Robinson's Retail 61, MPI 404, San Miguel Corporation 122, Jollibee 177, Pure Gold 36, Globe 1941, Metro Bank 45, Aboitiz Power 24, ICT 118.5, Meralco is now trading at 261, Telephone 1300, BDO 100 bucks, AEV 40 bucks, URC 135, BPI 79, Ayala Corp 770, Ayala Land 3770, SM Prime 35, JG Summit 60 bucks, and SM well below 1,000, now trading at 985. Now, you might be wondering, how could JG Summit fall 8% for the day? It's now trading at 60, and actually today is a great buying day, or tomorrow. It could actually be just one of the days that you get a strong sell-off, and then Monday, you can actually still see them falling lower. But it's interesting for me to see that finally there's that drop, and we are actually going to see what companies we're going to buy into the market. Now, let's take a look at the statistics as well. What are the top traded names in the Philippine market? Your ACEN, 1.2 billion, 6.4. Take note, though, that in my view, ACEN seems to have already peaked at about 9 to 10 bucks last year. And so you're still seeing a lot of distribution on your AC energy. Now, you still continues to see a lot of selling from the likes of APL. Your BSC is still up, but it's actually lower by about more than 50% from its peak. It has gone down from 2 bucks to 1 buck. So in a way, you kind of need 100% move for 1 buck to go to 2 bucks. BPI is now trading well below. It's now below 90 bucks, well below 80 bucks. It's now 79 bucks 45 cents. Your Mary Mart is below. It's now 6.6. Your PHA is now 1.9. Take note that they have gone well below their 3 bucks area. It's now what? 1.9. BDO is now trading at 100 bucks. LIHC trading up. You are still seeing a lot of speculative names want to go in and out. However, it's very clear that you could see that the slew of the ocean is in a Red Sea. The market is in a red, bloody sea. Your JG Summit is down 8%, particularly today, 60.8. Let's take a look at whether there's news specifically on JG Summit or what is causing an 8% drop on your JG Summit. Your Dito Telecom is now trading at 12 bucks. Still a lot of money to be made, even if you are selling. So those who are still not over with Dito Telecom, you might have to take a look at on the facts that capped upside and how much is your downside doesn't mean that you have to sell everything. If you believe in your if you believe in your percentage and your position. However, you have to be very careful about the implications of holding, even if you are holding a winner today. Some winners can actually continue to get sold. Tane. So anyway, okay, so Dito Telcom, then you've got Abra now trading at 49. You are seeing those continue to sell off. This is interesting for me. Your URC is now 135. Of course, the ranges have been still big. You saw URC trading from about as low as $100, as high as 150. Can we get URC lower? That would be a greater opportunity if we can get it low. Meralco right now is down 7% here at 261. It's interesting at that level because for all we know, we can still get a 14 peso dividend here. So the lower it is, the better for us who are actually out of the market, who wants to get into the market. Now, SM is now trading at 985 bucks. I still think that it's capped upside. I mean, what's your upside? 1-1, right? So it's very little upside here. Jollibee is about 177. Just 1% drop. If it can fall further, I think that people would love that. Ayala Land is 37.7, 3% drop. People want to see it fall further. IMI 1288, one of the few names that are rising because we argued that, well, yes, there was the news on the Viao offering. And, IMI still owns that Viao. And then Viao Optronics is portraying itself in most of their investors' presentations as one of a beneficiary of a lot of trends, whether those trends are your connected vehicles and automotives, your Internet of Things. So you can actually just check out the Awesome10X review of what IMI is doing for their subsidiary. In which case, IMI owns, if my memory is correct, I believe IMI owns 36%. 36% market cap on Viao Optronics, which is a German company. So Metrobank is now trading at 44. As you could see, all the financials have met their resistance, as we did say quite a week, 2 weeks, a month ago, when around December, we have been already harping to many people that the Philippine market at 7.1, 7.2, all the way to about 7.5, even if it goes 7,800, you don't have a lot of upside, and you might as well actually trim and give crumbs to beggars. And, those beggars now are seeing their shares actually from 50 now to 45, and BDO from 110 now to 100 bucks. I'd say that, you have to be aware that when risk is not, when the risk reward is not in your favor, do not be surprised of drops such as these. Now, 4% in a drop on Pure Gold, and another 61 bucks for you've got to see that the supermarkets in the Philippines, like Pure Gold and Robinson's Retail, are still getting pummeled down. Now, these names, in my view, might get punished, but it doesn't mean that they can get punished forever. So you are seeing actually that a lot of Philippine names have dividends. You've seen that your Globe is now trading at 1941. Your PLDT is now trading at 1300. So I'd say that Meralco, PLDT, Globe, these are index names that are actually stable, that might actually be something that should be up for people who really just want, hey, I want to replace my bonds. What could I replace it in the Philippines that's going to be stable? I'd argue that your Meralco, your Globe, your PLDT, these utility firms, your internet connection names, should actually be presenting a value to other people who loves to have these bond-like investments. Now, it goes the same way with consumer staples like a supermarket because they're essential goods. So you might want to actually check out these RRHI and Pure Gold on the way down. Now, this one is interesting. What's happening to your Nicolasia? 4.7 today. So you've seen Nicolasia rally from 1.8, 1.5, all the way to about $6, 400%. Can it actually go to $4? Can it go to $3? Now, that's an interesting story to tell. Robinson's Land is now trading at $19, still above your 15 levels, but can it go further? Right now, you're seeing that properties are falling down. You're seeing Ayala Land, you're seeing SM Prime, you're seeing Mega World, and that goes to show that your properties have a risk reward wherein you've got the capped resistance, you know the ranges, and you trade the ranges. So, all right, these are all interesting happenings for the Philippine market. Let's take a look at the worst losers for the day. Your worst losers are, yeah, so I'd say that JG Summit 8% is one of the companies that we might need to discuss here. 500 million pesos on a value traded on JG Summit. Let's take a look on JGS. So let's see that. JG Summit, see if there's notes in the Philippines. JG Summit seen to redeem bonds early. Cebu Pacific $250 million share sale will be used to pay down the debt, leases, and JG Summit advances. So let's read that for you. Okay, let's read this. For all the people who are not aware of the Philippine market, JG Summit is John Gokongwei Summit, who owns Cebu Pacific, who owns stakes in Robinson's Land, who owns stake in Robinson's Retail, and who owns stakes in URC. So let's read this together, guys. So it says here that the low-cost carrier Cebu Pacific has outlined its plans to raise $250 million, that's about 12 billion pesos, in a stock sale that will be used to pay down the debt that has shut down the international aviation that hurt all airlines around the globe. The airline said in a stock exchange that it will file to issue convertible preferred shares, priced between 74 to 84 cents each. These convertible shares will be 100 million as an advance payment to JG Summit Philippines for really kind of like paying the, how should I say this? JG Summit was the one paying for Cebu Pacific's shortfall last year. It will use 70 million to pay for the aircraft operating lease payments. It will also use $72 million for principal debt repayments due in 2021. Now, it's going to use another $6 million for passenger refunds in case cash inflows from operations become insufficient as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what's happening here is that the market sees the JG Summit is actually issuing so many convertible preferred shares that it's likely to increase the number of shares to those who own JG Summit, likely the cause for this drop. Let's see this. The airline industry faces significant challenges. Everybody knows that. Due to this exceptional change in market conditions, it is currently implementing a business transformation exercise involving right-sizing of network and fleet to meet the new demand. Okay, so I'd say that if ever the attribution for the Cebu Pacific and the JG Summit, it's really the same thing happening abroad. But the market is seeing that there might be more shares in the market for JGS that's actually that's gonna be paying for all of these. So it's a fixed rate. I don't know if the convertible preferred shares is it convertible preferred exactly for Cebu Pacific or is it JG Summit bonds? Yeah, it says here that JG Summit is also seeking the early redemption of its 10-year bonds because the fixed rate of that is probably higher coupon rate. So what JG Summit is doing is essentially taking advantage of the low interest rates because these are coupons that are 5.3% per annum. If they can actually borrow at about 3 to 4%, they just issue convertible preferred shares, that would be a cheaper financing option for JG Summit. So this is actually a 9 billion peso issue, the second after the 9. So this was actually what? How much? This is a 10-year bond that they will get at about 101. This was 30 billion pesos fixed bonds. So that was used to buy for Meralco shares, which is actually positive to JG Summit business because Meralco was purchased in about 2014 area at about 240 pesos. I think it was 240 pesos. So guys, you have to understand that Meralco actually at about 240 all the way to 200 will always get a supportive action, not necessarily because you believe in Meralco as a growing utility business, because utility electricity is relatively flat. You know, the growth will be the same. It's not as if like you're gonna go open your aircon all the way. So, you know, electricity is a flat growth business, but it is still a business that has a lot of cash flows. So there's a lot of companies that we should probably discuss today. So let's take a look at that. Your JG Summit, I think, has gotten a drop. I'm not sure if the drop was related to that, but it's just my guess. But if you have ideas, just put it in your commentaries. All right, so you've got 7%. No, this is just too small, so we don't comment on this. Meralco, I think, all right, so 7%, FNI, 50 million. It's just related to Nicolasia. All right, so let's take a look at your Nicolasias. These are your outperformers last year because, of course, everybody knows that lithium ion is 80% on any battery storage material for anyone who has solar or electric vehicle. you need some storage batteries. 80% of that is lithium, 10% of that is nickel, the other 10% would be your manganese, cobalt, etc., etc. Now, let's take a look at where nickel prices are today and whether there is demand for them. Let's go to our charts. Okay, let's open some charts for you. Okay, has nickel prices demand actually fallen down? So you could take a look at some Norris nickel mines. Let's take a look at some companies abroad, GMKN. So you'll see that actually nickel miners abroad aren't really falling as much. It's just really a long-term trend, uptrend. So you're seeing that in the last how many years, they're actually in a long-term uptrend. These drops are just your normal profit taking. This would be your MMC Norris Nickel. Let's take a look at the largest nickel companies of the world. Of course, people would say that the largest nickel companies in the Philippines would be your Nickel Asia. But when you take a look at the world, Philippines is not really the number one. Vale, Norris Nickel, Jinchuan Group, Glencore, and BHP Group. So we just showed you Norris Nickel, which is 166,265 metric tons. So investing in Nickel Asia would be a little bit similar to the industry stats of a Norris Nickel. Now you're seeing that Norris Nickel actually went from about, let's say you were not too soon. Let's say you got in at about 10,000 here. It's now 25,000. More importantly, in 2015, your average would be somewhere in about 9,000 or 10,000, right? All right. So what we're seeing the Philippine market, let's take a look at the charts of Nickel Asia. Okay, let's put that NIKL. Let's read the chart for you. Let's view the full chart. Your market cap is about 64 billion pesos, and you've got about 112 million value traded for the day with 23 million shares trading on your Nickel Asia. Your Nickel Asia has rallied last year from the lows of March from about 1.5 all the way to 6 pesos, or a 4x move for the last maybe, you can say about 9 to 10 months. So let's take a look at whether the trend of Nickel Asia has truly fallen down, or is this a pullback? All right. My view is that these are just simply pullbacks after an extensionary move. So you don't necessarily see extensions going all the way up without a pullback. And what you're seeing is that Nickel Asia is pulling back. Your prior resistance here at about 4.7 is proving to be your prior resistance that could act as support. But any recent drops further in the market could actually tempt people to sell further, hit about 4.2 all the way to about 3.7. Now, what do you want to do here? If you believe in Nickel Asia as a long-term beneficiary, not as a short-term beneficiary, then you'd argue that those who don't have Nickel Asia might actually like to see Nickel Asia fall down here from about 3.7 all the way to 4.23. We don't know how low it can go. You just want to wait it out, but you know that the trend is intact for this, at least from a fundamental scenario. Doesn't mean that the technicals will always abide with fundamentals, but you have to understand the bigger picture here. All right, so it is what? A 5-year breakout from 4.7. The question is, guys, does the market agree that Nickel Asia 4.7, is that a support or is that a resistance? Awesome10X is a question mark. Awesome10X doesn't know if it's a support or resistance, but if you believe that it's a support, what you want to do is buy 4.7, but you want to have leeway to actually buy all the way to about 3.7, just in case that 4.7 is not the support. Now, let's take a look at your PSEI. PSEI is now trading at about 6,600. Let's take a look at where the market can conceivably get a support from. All right, so we are seeing that the market in the Philippines has actually tried to retest the 6.5 area, which was your prior 2016 support, but you also got this support at 6,100. Now, how do you actually know that the Philippine market will find a support? You don't really know. You have to really wait for the market to tell you. You don't predict, you just really prepare. So what is it that you have to prepare for? You want to prepare for this 6.6 all the way to 6.1. It doesn't mean that you panic. What you just need to know is to be opportunistic. And what are the opportunities that are being offered to you? All right, to me, the properties are not yet opportunistic areas. The banks are not yet opportunistic areas. But how low do you really think that these staples can actually go? Sure, so we actually argue that pure gold is already being oversold. And can it go down to as low as 32? In my view, the lower this goes, the better, because you're able to get in the next 1 year a better reward. Now, with JG Summit, however, despite the 8% drop today, I'm not sure if it is actually an opportunity, because what you're seeing is that if they are going to do convertible preferreds, it might even fall further to about 52. We don't know how much the shares price of those convertibles are. Does that mean that your URCs, your RLCs, your Cebu Pacific, what's going to happen with them? Chances are people don't really know what these convertible offerings are. They're probably uncertain, or if they know, I think that it's not been clear. People don't know what exactly those things will be. So uncertainty opens fear. It doesn't mean that and fear can let people be in despair. You know, fear can gradually turn into panic. I'm not saying that people will panic, but people just simply don't know. So Cebu Pacific right now, 36 has rallied to about 58. So far, what we only know is that, okay, so JG Summit is helping Cebu Pacific because Cebu Pacific bled so much losses 2020. That's something that everybody knows. All the airlines worldwide, not necessarily Cebu Pacific, had laid off plenty of employees because of no travel issuance of all the governments. That is pretty much known. That's the reason why Cebu Pacific had to be, in a way, not really a bailout, but JG Summit had to step into that. I think what you're seeing here is that, all right, it's very clear that Cebu Pacific in the next couple of weeks or months, because people don't know, it's a clear buy here, sell there, buy here, sell there. It cannot break out because people are not aware what exactly is happening to these airlines, what's going to happen to JG Summit. And when people don't know, there's no clarity, they can't actually act. Meaning, okay, action is nothing. They don't know what to do. But likely what you would assume people would do is if it rallies about 51 to 54, not necessarily tomorrow or next year or next month, they would actually see that as an opportunity to still be a resistance. So it was a resistance here, 1, 2, 3. You'd see it actually as a resistance next couple of months, even next year. So it's very hard to assume whether that resistance of 51 to 54 will ever break. But it's very clear for some people that if the upside of 47 is a mere 10 to 20% rather than making 40, 50%, they'd be a little bit disappointed because if it's a 20% gain and about 20% loss, it's like 50-50. Bakit ka pa nag-trade or bakit ka pa nag-invest kung 20-20 lang din naman yan? 20% downside, 20% upside, unless you really see that 54 will eventually break out. So yun, risk-reward ratio, it becomes, unfortunately, nobody knows. I'm not saying that I know, I just think that people are not clear on what's happening. So, all right. Ano bang mga clear? All right. Ang mga clear here is that you know for a fact that Meralco here is actually at support. This is what's very clear. 250 was actually, tingnan mo in the last 7-10 years, you know that the JG Summit Group actually supported Meralco here at about 230 all the way to about 200. So even in the pandemic actually of March 2020, Meralco stayed as a support. So if you're looking for multiple 10-year supports, ito yung support na nakikita ko. You can see that 225 to 250, let's say Meralco falls 225 or 250. Guys, ito yung sa Philippines na I'm not saying na malaki naman yung reward mo, pero you know for a fact that Filipinos cannot afford not to have electricity in their lives. It's an essential. Pwede ba silang wala ng kuryente sa bahay? Kahit anong sabihin mo, kailangan talaga nila ng kuryente. You won't make a lot of money, but you neither would lose money. So those types of investments are what you call bonds. You don't make a lot, you don't lose a lot, tulog pera mo. But people like that because may dividends ka all year long, 5-year long, 10-year long. That's the reason why JG Summit actually invested a huge stake in Meralco. So it's more on stability, guys. Iba yung growth, iba yung stability. Stability is really capital preservation. So what I can tell you is that here at about 250 all the way to 225, just in case Meralco falls, that's actually an awesome 10x buy. Where will you actually sell it? You want to actually sell it just in case it rallies nearing 300 to 320. Meaning, kapag hindi umangat in the next year, may dividend ka, 10 pesos. Pag umangat, pwede kang kumita ng 40 pesos, 50 pesos, 70 pesos. Yung 5-year na kinita mo on the dividend, you can get it in a year, pwede na. So, hindi siya parang short-term instrument. Remember that. These are actually buy and sleep. Ganun style. Parang buy low, sleep, tingnan natin kung umangat. Pag umangat, tawagan mo ko, ibenta mo. Ganun lang yon. Or i-GTC mo na. GTC means good till cancel. Good till cancel by 250, 225. Good till cancel sell 300, 310, or 290, 280. Maraming ganun. That's what I think about these things. Now, what do you think about PLDT, Meralco? All right. You know, in the Philippines, a lot of millennials and Gen Z would say that internet is more important than even a clean bathroom. I know it's a bit weird, but that was an analogy that I heard from some videos. Why do you think that's so? Because it's such an essential for most Filipinos to have their internet, whether it's their business, whether it's their necessity to talk to people. Mawawalan sila ng communication if hindi sila gumagamit ng mga telecoms. So whether they're using PLDT or Globe or Dito or Nowcorp, these are what you'd say essential utilities. So what you can very clearly see here was that PLDT actually retested that 800 peso support, which is, guys, a 20-year prior price. Yes, you heard me right. That is 20 years ago, 800 pesos. So right now, what you're seeing with PLDT is, of course, in a trading range. Why will it never reach 2,000 bucks, by the way? PLDT will never reach 2,000 bucks because we have already transitioned from paying our SMS per text message from there to actually broadband trade data connectivity. So we're not actually paying for 1,000 messages in Viber, for 1,000 messages in WhatsApp, I need to pay 1,000 pesos. No, it's not correlated to that. It's not even correlated to the talking minutes. With Viber, you just pay what? 500 pesos per month, unlimited talking minutes. So those types of reward will never ever happen in the next 10 to 20 years. However, in the next 10 to 20 years, what I can assure you of is that the loyal customers of these people are not likely to unsubscribe from their PLDT, from their Smart. Even if they want to switch, it's kind of, alam mo yun, tamad yung mga tao na, Globe na ako I don't want to switch. Globe ako, if I'm PLDT forever, PLDT na sila forever. It's very hard to tell people to switch. It is more like, ito yung incumbent, ito yung mga disruptor, your disruptors are your Nowcorp and your Dito, unless the government forces them, di ba? But, you know, it's very hard, di ba? Incumbent is hard. Sinasabi ko lang yung totoo. Ano yun? Sige, tatapusin ko na to. Anyway, so the resistance is really 1-4. May sasabihin ka ba?
Tatawin ako sa'yo.
Okay, teka lang. May stream pa ako. Teka lang. Okay, so very clearly may resistance ang PLDT sa 1-4-1-5, pero may support sa 1-1-1-2. So ano lang to, maliit na range, 1-2 to 1-4. Okay, there's more. I'll just answer some questions if any. Comments, 27 minutes na. Okay, pure gold, 36 is okay, all the way to 32. Kung hawak nyo yan, okay lang yan. Percentage exposure lang. Aboitiz Power. So Aboitiz is mixture balance. We mentioned that Aboitiz Power has coal, but also has renewable. It is an important power generator. Actually, a supplier to your Visayas, Mindanao, Luzon, everywhere, right? So electricity-wise, they're actually a biggest power supplier. Watanabekiya. It is the largest industry, one of the largest power generators, diba, that are supplying Meralco. So let's take a look at your Aboitiz Power today, AP. Sige, let's go to AP. So these are your utility firms in the Philippine market. Aboitiz Power. Okay. So Aboitiz Power today traded at 24. Massive drop. May news po ba ang Aboitiz Power? Kasi with JGS, baka may news siya, no? Aboitiz Power also fell quite massively today, dropping from 28 all the way to 24. So, sige, I'm not sure if there's news on Aboitiz Power. Let's see. Aboitiz Power. Clean energy, green living, Lanquahigan news. Renewing a power deal with Nueva Ecija, joins PSA auction of Meralco, expected to open another coal plant. On track to double capacity, may financing. From a support perspective, guys, I don't think there's really a bad news happening to Aboitiz Power. So this could actually be more of an opportunity to buy. When the market is falling, your opportunity should be glaring. So, lumalabas yung mga reward opportunities, yung mga risk na 1 peso, reward 4 peso. And those are the kinds of opportunities that I want you to be more hungry about. So, I'm game for that. JFC, took a look at the support. May support at 160, 150. If you have Jollibee, I think hold ka, but you want to wait out and see whether a bigger drop happens para mas maganda yung entry opportunity to buy more. ACEN, what do I think about it? I think that ACEN really has a lot of resistances. I'm talking a huge resistance seems to be at 7, 8, diba? So malaki talagang resistance. It's hard to break that. It's gonna take time. Sometimes 3 months, sometimes 3, I don't know how long. Maingay, sorry sa bahay namin. May mga inaayos. So sorry about the technical noise difficulties. I'm already shouting, by the way. So I'm sorry. Maingay sa bahay. Pure Gold, Macro Asia, SSI are very cheap right now. I need to wait for the reversal kasi baka maging deeper sila. Agree. Pwede yan maging deeper. So tingnan mo muna if the market will fall further kasi pwede yan bagsakan. It doesn't mean that they're bad companies, but they can actually fall. Just because a company is good doesn't mean that you can prevent it from falling. So what you want to be aware of is what would be the next supports of the following names. All right. So Macro Asia broke where? 4 pesos, 5 pesos. So far, nag-break siya ng 5. So what you could see here is that so far, pwede niya i-retest yan eh. Nagre-retest to ng mga support. Nagkaroon ng drop here at about 439. Watch whether they can get a further support. Ipa-consolidate mo like this. The best way, guys, is tingnan mo to. That is what I call the apathy zone. Hanap ka ng apathy zone, wag yung despair move. I'll teach you a very simple system, guys. There's more than greed and fear. I always tell you this. There's more than greed and fear. At least, in my opinion, at least there will be about 6 emotion types in the market. Not necessarily just in the Philippines, but worldwide. The bigger fear is called despair. So, lagi may mga despair, capitulation, you'd hear about those things. Climax, ganun. Despair, fear, apathy. The best reason to buy greed is pagka-break ng apathy. From apathy, which is disinterested mga tao, you want to wait for the greed to happen. The best way to make money, greed is good. Pag nagre-greed mode. Pag euphoria, late ka na. Pag insanity, mas late ka. In fact, pag bumili ka ng insanity, patay ka. Chances are, 99% of the time, pag bibili ka sa insanity, deads ka na, late ka na, tinatapunan ka na. 6, 8, 10, kahit dumiretso pa ng 20, tinatapunan ka pa rin. You have to be very fast when you're actually in insanity zones. So the best, cheapest, and highest risk, the lowest risk is actually to buy on the greed. Pag simula pa ng greed, early ka ng trend, okay yon. Parang nangyari sa Nicolasia, tingnan mo, the early part of the trend, 150, 180, maybe $2. Pero pag late ka na, pumapasok ka 3, 4, 5, chamba ka na lang kung kumita ka pa sa 6 actually. Parang chumachambalero ka na lang. Alright, so Pure Gold, Mac, SSI very cheap right now. See whether they can reset. So hinihintay mo yung reset and consolidation apathy. Let's hear again the bashing of PSE and the Invest Global through eToro. Hindi naman. Guys, pag may opportunity sa Pilipinas, okay naman. Like, pabagsakin mo yung PSE, ganda kasi okay to. Bagsakin mo para maganda opportunity. Kasi pag dire-diretso up, wala rin naman tayong opportunity dyan, guys. Thanks, Nikki, for being truthful about PSEI current status. Made us realize to invest globally, not just focus in the local markets. You can invest globally. You can invest in the Philippines. Kasi syempre, guys, nung bumagsak yung Jollibee ng 99, nag-alert yung buy mode natin. Okay to bili to. Kahit nabugsakin mo ng 80 pesos Jollibee, sige lang. So kailangan, guys, alerto ka sa opportunity, whether Philippines, local, or global. Hindi pwedeng, kasi gusto ko global lang. Kasi gusto ko local lang. Hindi ganon. Lahat yan, kaya mo pagkakitaan ng pera. Okay. Will you get offended kapag wala na pong nag-invest sa global? Hindi. As if naman I care. As if I care. Magkano lang ba pera ng Pilipinas? Hindi mo man kailangan Philippine money for global money So what? I don't care. Okay. ASEN, please. Resistance. Telecoms, please. I answered that. So dito seems to be in the distribution zone. Ingat. Globe and PLDT, pwede pa siyang bagsakan, pero it's good to actually see it if it can actually find the support. ACEN, yun nga, answered na. FNI will follow a little bit on Nickel Asia. So if Nickel Asia support at 4.7, malamang may support ang FNI. Pero correlated yan. So I showed you the nickel miners worldwide so that you have a better understanding of what would happen on the nickel companies in the Philippines. Now, in my view, honestly, SSI is more than a transformational play. Problem really is liquidity. I think that it could take a long while for people to really understand that SSI is a transformational play. How many Filipinos can actually appreciate that Shake Shack Philippines is actually a good thing? How many Filipinos can actually appreciate that online e-commerce foray of Anton is a good thing? Sometimes it takes a long time. I'm actually a little bit surprised that ASEN happened in about 9 months to triple and quadruple. Kasi sometimes, guys, ang tagal. Minsan 3 taon bago umangat yun. Minsan 3 taon bago umangat yung Nickel Asia. Buti na lang nangyari in 9 months. Pero I think really, tingnan mo rin yung market, whether they agree. Minsan, kaya importante guys, it's better to have a system na your positions are small so that your opinions can change. Meaning, mahina talaga, okay lang, sige, pabagsakin mo, okay lang, hindi naman ako hurt. Pag umangat, people would say, hindi naman malaki kinita mo, okay lang. Kasi the system is, I prefer to have small positions on many names, and I'm talking about many names talaga. Sometimes, siguro nahihilo na yung mga tao, gaano karaming names. Minsan 70 names na, no? Minsan 50 names. Pero worldwide naman, may Philippine konti, pero most predominantly talaga abroad eh. Pero okay lang talaga. I'm a person who prefers na small positions, na maraming small positions rather than one big position. Kasi pag one big position, big hit ka on the upside, big hit ka rin on the downside. I prefer na kung patayin mo ko with 99 bullets. Kumuha ka ng machine gun, patayin mo ko sa mata, sa ilong, sa lahat. Hindi ako one shot headshot. Hindi mo ako one shot headshot. So anong effect ng double dragon on REITs? Dapat honestly, positive. Pero kung yung market sentiment mahina, hindi mo rin kaya siya paangatin. But I think the people who are buying double dragon REITs is really just the bond replacement type of investor. So I'm always saying na REITs, whether it be the Ayala REIT, Double Dragon REIT, and whatever REIT happening in the entire world, remember the upside and downside, 5%, 10%, 20% maximum, maybe. I'm not sure, pwedeng 25%, pero feel ko mahirap unless sobrang makuha mo yung mga REITs na sobrang mura. I think like there was a time when the Keppel REITs in Singapore, this March, bumagsak siya talaga. And because of that happened, makuha mo 20% a year. Kasi sumobrang bagsak siya eh. Tingnan mo Keppel REITs. This was in Singapore, Keppel REITs. You don't make a lot of money, pero 80 cents, nag-120 kasi may na-shock mode dyan. May nagpanic, no? 85 to 90 cents. Yan yung mga office in Singapore, Keppel REITs, commercial office spaces there. So, yung mga REITs, you don't make a lot of money unless biglang nagpanic. Kumbaga, 1 peso, may willing to, 100, let's say, nag-start, tapos may willing to sell you at 80. Doon mo kunin. Uy, 20% down yung REITs niya, bilhin mo. Ganon yon para malaki yung gain mo. Walang gain na malaki on REITs unless may magpanic. So ganon. Financials would also remain traditional yan. You don't make a lot of money but you don't, range lang talaga yan. So range yan. Financials, REITs, the banks would have a range. Merrimart and DMC, I don't see a huge outperformance kasi Merrimart already rose. So, seems like hard to stretch extension. DMC is in a range. Probably there's a lot of buyers 5 below. Some people are bargain hunting, but at the same time, if there's so many things in the market that are worth bargain hunting for, I don't think that is the top of mind. Parang I think people would be willing to look at what and how the market can fall if it wants to fall. Babantayan ng market, okay, ito 50% drop to, dito ko. Parang hintayin ng market yan. So tingnan mo yung market. February considered na po bang bear months? To be honest, everybody knows that the Philippine market is contracting. Your GDP is bad. Your companies are bad. You want to see whether the fear of the market can go to despair. That's where you want, actually dalawa lang yan. You want to enter on greed mode or ipa-despair mo yung market para makita mo yung hopelessness ng market, dyan ka bibili. Okay, so agree, small position in many names. Yeah, ganyan din strategy ko. Kasi pag small strategy, a small position ka, kaya mong hintayin. hindi ka nagmamadali to make money, pero hindi ka rin naman jackpot talaga. I mean, for me, consistency lang din. You don't want to make a lot, but you don't want to lose a lot. So, from a risk-reward strategy, hindi ka talaga magiging number 1. Pero hindi ka rin magiging number 100 lowest rank. Parang okay ka lang. And I think iba-iba naman kasi yung concept ng tao. Let's say, hindi ka makikita na malakas sa Meralco, di ba? I know, pero at 250 to 225, sige, game ako. Alam ko naman, I'll make 5 to 10, 15%. Okay na din, di ba? What we're saying is that on a level of risk-reward, there are so many types of people. Hindi lahat ng tao willing na mag-make ng 100% to lose 50%. Kasi volatile yun eh, di ba? So, hindi lahat ng tao the same. You have to understand, some people are actually happy with just a 10% gain. So, ganun lang yun. Thoughts on GSMI? Wala, I think the liquidity is the problem. Kahit tulak-tulakin pa, di ba? Parang, ang hirap din kapag walang liquidity eh. You want to actually see the top 30 names. Malakas siya, pero lumalakas yung volume. Okay, tingnan mo yung resistance, 70. Ano risk-reward mo dyan? So, if you have it, edi good, di ba? If you don't have it, okay lang no, hindi. Okay lang na hindi ka nakaposisyon. Actually, yung DWC, dumami ba yung volume? Yung Discovery World Shores? Umangat yan, di ba? Wala, may papitik-pitik na volume. Papitik-pitik lang yung volume. Call Financial, the rise of retail. O, sige, umangat, di ba? Kaso papitik-pitik yung volume din eh. Papitik-pitik, okay, 1 to 5. O, wala na naman volume. May volume, tapos walang volume. May volume, tapos walang volume. Ipitan yan eh. Alam mo, mahirap pag walang volume. Nahirapan ako pag walang volume. So parang sa kanila na yan. Okay lang yun. Kung kumita sila, di good, di ba? Mahirap, guys. Titingnan mo pa rin liquidity. That's why when you look at the top traded issues, mas maganda yung top traded. O sige, 1 billion pesos, di ba? So, let's say, sige, pag-usapan natin yung top traded in the Philippines. Ang top traded in the Philippines continues to be, eto, ACEN, APL, BSC. O sige, tingnan natin. ACEN and BSC are both narrative names. Narrative with execution. ACEN put a lot of billions here. Hindi lang salita, diba? So, okay, show me the money. Talaga, pinakita niya yung money. Nandun sila Temasek, sila GIC ng Singapore, pumasok na. So, okay, pumasok sila sa ang presyo, 2.37. Okay, nandito sila sa 237. Ito yung mga presyo na yon. Chart-wise, sige, sabihin na natin, nag-average up pa sila. Okay, so malakas yung support mo dyan, 2 to 260. Pwede yan, guys, yung mga ibang tao, nag-sell na kasi sila sa 9 or 10, or sabihin na natin nag-sell sila sa 8. So they're actually just profit-taking, but possibly they're trying to buy back. Kasi winner, guys, winners win. They want to still hold on to their winner. So may possibility, guys, that the lower the market goes, people will actually buy ACEN. They won't wanna sell it. Nag-sell man sila dati, profit-taking lang yun. So ganun yung nangyari, I think, with ACEN and nickel. The winners of 2020 will continue to win. Tapos, at the same time, since if you believe that ACEN and nickel will win, some people want a cheaper ACEN. So they're trying to portray that BSC is the cheaper ACEN. Tansya ko lang, guys, ha? Hindi ko lang, I'm just trying to understand what's happening in the market. Ano yung cheaper ACEN, BSC ba? So you're seeing that Philippine market is trying to get the cheap ACEN, no? So 215 binagsakan, very clearly eto resistance to 140 to 215. So you're seeing that the market wants to consolidate. Okay, nag-consolidate siya higher from about 94 cents. Eto, nag-higher low na yan. From 66 to 94. What do you call that? Higher low. So I think in BSC and ACEN, you're seeing a higher low for now. Pwede yan mag-trade the range, pwede maging volatile. There's money to be made. There's money to be made because it's really value traded, malalaki. Hindi siya, alam mo yon, nandyan sa top 10 eh. So, BSC and ACEN, kung gusto nyo mag-trade, up to you, okay lang. Now, some people, ayaw nila mag-trade, gusto nila invest. Okay, kung gusto nila mag-invest, hintay sila ng better pricing. Kung gusto naman nila na, gusto ko na bumili ngayon, 94 cents, hit na yon. Okay, sige. Pag bumaba ng 80 cents or 60 cents, huwag kang iiyak. Pwede naman din bumaba. Pero pag umangat ng 140, alam mo rin gagawin mo. Now, for ASEN, ganun din. Alam mo, 6, 550, 560, okay, pwedeng magkaroon ng support doon. At the same time, saan yung resistance? As long as you know what you're doing, okay lang po. Now, if you don't know anything, wag ka na. Wag ka nang mag-trade kung wala ka ring alam. Bloomberry, please. Bloomberry is casino. So you've got the people actually, diba, you've seen the news that Bloomberry was trying its best to resume operations with the POGOs. And I think it was something happening since June. Kaya nga since June, ayan no, umangat na yan diba? Since June pa lang. Ito yon, the first move was actually hope lang yan, rally on hope, consolidate, and then eto talaga nung mga June, sabi, meron talaga kaming way to open the POGOs again. Actually, nung November, dumiretso pa yan. Bakit? Because of the COVID vaccine. So yun talaga yung mga nangyari dyan. So far, what you're seeing with Bloomberry is uptrend channel. Okay naman to, pero like yun nga, rally to 8 and 9, kung bumaba man yan sa 7, at least alam mo higher low, 5, 6, 7. Okay lang, I think. Parang, I don't know if it's gonna be a quick climb, but okay lang. What is happening to BRN? BRN, Brown, di ba nga sa Visayas, Mindanao yan? Mindanao ata yan eh. Tulog pa rin, apathy pa rin. I think tulog pa rin siya. Nangyari na bang umangat yan? Wala pa rin sa top 10. Tulog Brown. Tulog lang. I don't think that everyone is really interested with what's happening. This one is really a disinterested company. The sad part with the market is that when people are disinterested, and I'm not talking about BRN only, the Philippine market, 11 billion pesos. That's what you call $200 million. In the big world, that's nothing. So it tells you a little bit that apathy zone. SSI, MPI, may hawak ka bang Bitcoin ngayon? Actually, kahapon nagkaroon ng entry point. So I executed a buy last night. Nung nag-break ng 30,000, merong support. So, small lang guys. Kahit bagsakan akong 24,000, di ako iyak. May support sa 28 and 24. Consolidation to. Now, what was happening last night is nagwelga talaga lahat ng mga tao sa Wall Street kasi sinarado ng IBKR and Robinhood yung lahat ng buy button sa lahat ng speculative names. So, lahat ng mga bumibili ng Nokia, AMC, GameStop, for seller. Wala parang pinatrade ka ng Call Financial, buy and sell lang. Pinatrade ka ng WealthSec, dati may buy and sell, tapos ngayon wala nang buy, sell lang. So syempre yung pera mo, in a way, wala kang magawa for sell Edi sige, sell. So I felt that the people actually who bought those are a typical, they would be the same kinds of people who doesn't want the centralized market na may nagdidictate na wala na pong pera yung short sellers ng GME. Hindi na po kayo pwede mag-buy up nitong mga names na to infinity. So because of that, I think that the market wants to go to the decentralized world. And in the decentralized world, of course, you know that Bitcoin and Binance and all of these names would profit from those types of things. So ang problema ko lang sa eToro, ang lakas nila mag-charge. I got some. Alam ko maliit to, masyadong maliit to, pero yeah, small amount lang muna. So 5,000, that's about 5%. Pwede naman ako magdagdag talaga ng allocation, but I'm just testing the waters with eToro. A huge position is still in IBKR. Mura kasi talaga interest rates in IBKR. Interactive brokers is 1.59% a year. Kahit na nagkaroon ng mga restrictions, and interactive brokers actually said na they did it to protect the market's integrity, to protect the brokerage firms from actually losing money because if the sellers don't have money to pay the buyers, kumbaga, may winning side, may losing side. Sumobrang kita na talagang winning side. They wanted to prevent the winning side to win more. Di ba? Winners win, guys. So, feel ko, wala na talagang magawa. So, no choice. That's why all the stocks like GME, Nokia, AMC, BBBY, Sundial, EXPR, syempre natakot ka na baka ma-trading halt, na baka bad word, baka hindi ka makabenta. Buti nga ngayon pinapabenta ka pa, baka bukas mag-up down ka na lang. Hindi mo alam, parang natutulog ka lang, 59% down na, 70% down na. So syempre no choice ka, diba? Hindi mo naman pwedeng hindi mo pwedeng i-disrupt ang rules. The rules are, ayun na nga eh, di ba? Ano pang gagawin mo? Eh di sabi ko, you don't let emotions get the best of you. Yung ibang Reddit, sabi niya, kakasuhan daw nila yung mga IBKR, yung mga Robin Hood. Sabi ko, eh di kasuhan nyo, wala naman kayo magagawa eh. Parang retail army versus Wall Street. Okay, I don't know. Pwede ka ba for copy? Yeah, you can. eToro copy. Or gusto mo, i-copy mo straight. Andiyan naman yung presyo eh. Andiyan yung mga presyo. Yan. Actually, makita mo, sobrang transparent naman. Yung GSAT na hit eh. Anyway, that's for the global markets. So yan. Ayan, natuto na ako nag-partial trade. Guys, di ko kasi dati alam yung mga partial trades on eToro. I didn't even know how to trim some. So, syempre, nung Beyond Me 225, syempre, sobrang happy, the vegan Doritos. Pero, hindi rin naman ako makasell kasi ang liit lang na position ko, 3% lang. So, parang, I usually don't want to sell when my exposure is too small. I'd rather hold it. So, yun. Pero I know na how to do partial selling on eToro. Simpleng bagay lang mag-partial sell. So, I'll do that next time. I'm sorry, but have you discussed APL? I feel that APL has already finished the run. Personally lang. Kasi 5 cents to 50 cents for 75. So medyo over na eh. Extended na. Usually talaga, yung mga ganyan, momentum on the upside, momentum to the downside. That's what you call parabolic pop and parabolic drop. For understanding, guys, of those types of names, nangyari na yan sa abroad. Pilray, guys. Tingnan mo yung nangyari. 8 to 200. Ito yun, no? Parabolic up, parabolic drop. So si APL, tapos na yung up, nasa drop na siya. So you have to understand that pag natapos yung parabolic, wala na. Like yung mga nangyayari talaga sa GME ngayon, parabolic up, parabolic drop. So yun, no? Parabolic up, parabolic drop. Up, drop. Pwedeng umangat yan, 300, tapos babagsakan ulit. So medyo sad to say, natapos na yung trend. Game over. Anong update? Sabi ng iba, once na dumating ang barko, lilipad na ang price. Hindi ko alam, pero like, I don't know, hindi ako marunong. Thought leaders like Chamath and others are advocating. Si Chamath, magaling gumamit. Personally, I feel that he's very good, but he also knows how to hit and run. He got into GME calls, $100,000 to $100. Then he exited the next day, $500,000. Then he gave all the money that he won to Barstool Sports Fund. Actually, that's the reason why Penn National Gaming was going up. And then he said that he was gonna sign up for California governorship. Penn National Gaming is the owner of Barstool Sports, guys. This was actually a company that went from $4 to about $110. That's 25x your money. And sustainable yan. Wala pang insanity yan. Now, actually, there's actually IPOE, which is the social finance of Chamath, that actually went up. Yan yung talaga buy mode kahapon. Kasi this is the Chamath SPAC, social finance. They are trying to tell all the Robinhood investors na if you want, there is gonna be a brokerage firm that is social finance that will not stop people when they want to buy or sell. Walang restrictions. Now, yun. So, of course, there's like Robinhood investors feels a bit sad na they couldn't even do anything about it. Ito yung nangyari kahapon eh. Because you have to understand, Robinhood is funded by Citadel. And Citadel actually has a short position on GME. So parang in a way, they can, in a way, control, right? They can control. So yun. Tapos na, game over. All right, so do you care for the FMETF? Exchange Traded Funds? It's really just for me. The FMETF is really just largely SM, SMAC, SM Prime, Ayala Land, Ayala Corp. With so few companies actually in the Philippine market, I'm not sure if an index fund is really a diversified way to enter the market. Yeah, because, the ETFs of the Philippines is largely properties, conglomerates, malls, diba? So, kung gusto mo, I really prefer, and this is just me, guys. I'm not saying that I represent everyone. I prefer knowing what I own. So, when people ask me, do you want to buy the exchange-traded fund, this and that, I'd say, I'd go to the exchange-traded fund, I'd take a look at what they have, and then I'll choose what I want inside. Ganun lang. I want to copy you, but I'm not sure if ikaw talaga yon. Wala kasing profile pic. How can I copy you? Ako po to, my eToro account is Nikki U. Hindi ko lang nilagyan ng picture, guys. Pero you can copy me. Ayan na yan. Kopyahin mo yung presyo. Actually, like ito, habang down pa ako. Ayan, no? makuha. Actually, guys, baka mali tong Nokia. Sorry, gahaman ako eh. Hindi ako nagbenta ng 80% up. Sorry po. Okay, so, buisit nga eh. Nokia 9, tapos binagsakan ng $5 kagabi. Wala naman choice, guys. Hindi ka pwedeng, ay, nako. Sorry, kasalanan ko rin naman yon. Okay. Hindi ako nagpo-post ng sell eh. Alright. So, yon. I like Vestas. Actually, I like Hasi, which is Hanan Armstrong. Maliit pa lang naman. So, yun, baka you can get better pricing. Ericsson I like, pero mukhang, yeah, tulog yan. Yeah, yun. You can actually study what I have. Tapos if you can get it cheaper, all the better. So, kung gusto mo, you copy me as in, just check my ideas. Pwede naman just check my ideas. You don't necessarily copy everything. Parang exchange rate and fund. Parang, ayan, itoro, kopyahin nyo ako. Kung gusto niyo yung mga analysis ideas ko, edi bilhin nyo. Kung ayaw nyo, diwag. Wala mong pakialam, di ba? Okay, how about fast fintech? Kung fintech lang, no, BFT, ang ganda, PaySafe, SoFi, IPOE, Affirm, AFRM. Ano pa bang mga gusto kong fintech? Yun yung top of mind. Pero marami pang maganda eh. So, Coinbase is listing as direct listing si Coinbase. There's gonna be more SPACs in the US. So, yun. How much is the account opening for eToro? Pwede actually, I don't know eh, pero you can, I think, open any amount. Parang $300 at, di ko sure. Just check the eToro website. Actually, sa IBKR, guys, if you can fund, if you have time, I still think na this is what you don't know. eToro is so limited. 2% yata yung spreads nila. When I was like looking at Disney, ang mahal ng eToro, and yung presyo ko sa IBKR mas cheaper. Tapos 1.59% a year. So, 'di ba? Parang kahit nasabi mo sa akin Disney and Facebook bibilin mo, nagbabayad ako ng yung mga commission fee na sinasabi na free. Hindi naman totoo 'yun eh. Tingnan mo yung spread. Let's say $100 yung totoong lakaran. Sa eToro binabayad mo 101, 102 eh. Mas mahal pa kaya 'yun, 2% spread. Eh paano kung bumili ako malaki? Eh di ang mahal nun, 'di ba? Minsan mag-isip kaya kayo. Oo. How much is 'yun? Ang maganda lang sa eToro, this is the good thing about eToro. Gamified version siya. To be honest, para siyang investing for dummies talaga. Pero ang di nyo naintindihan, ang mahal dyan, 8% a year, may bayad per weekend, ang dami nilang fees na hidden. So yun. Can you put the link of IBKR in your YouTube description? Sure. This is also what I need you to know. In IBKR, when you use a referral link, example kami, meron kami referral links, I get a $200 fee, but you get free IBKR shares. And that would be either $100, $200, $300, even $1,000 of free IBKR shares, assuming depending on your value turnover. Pero sobrang good yon guys. Kasi, let's say you open a $5,000 account with IBKR. Papautahin ka niya with $5,000, di ba? Ang haba na ng kwento ko, guys. I forgot. So yon, sige, I'll put my IBKR link. I'll put my eToro links in the videos. And actually, naubos na yung IBKR link ko. So I'll give my brother's IBKR link. Kasi each person can only refer, in eToro, 10 lang. In IBKR, 15 lang. So in a year, I can only refer 15. So far, na-refer ko na 15 people. So yun. So na-limit na ako sa IBKR. But I can like share the IBKR links of my family members. Spread will get you at eToro and very limited. Yun talaga yung ayoko sa eToro. Example nung bumibili kami ng AMC sa IBKR, at least at that point in time, actually guys, bumili ako AMC for 450, di ba? Nag-19 yun. Wala, no choice ako. Kailangan na, actually parang gahaman ako, $15, ayoko pa ibigay eh. Tanga ko no, mga $9 to $10 na ako naglabas. So anyway, gain pa rin, pero still, di ba? Wala eh. Anyway, I don't really want to be perfect. So, mas maganda talaga IBKR. Kulang talaga ang eToro. Mag-IBKR na lang kayo kung pwede lang. It's true po, eToro, I have a friend told me ang laki ng spread nila. Yeah, sobrang laki ng spread ng eToro. Kung talagang nakikita mo yung IBKR pricing, maiinis ka. Pero sige, eToro, actually I opened eToro just to yun nga, kasi may copy trade. Yun lang naman daw yung maganda sa eToro, may copy trade. Kasi yung copy trade sa IBKR, mano-mano ka magka-copy eh. So, in Awesome10X.com, you can copy my trades. And then, yun, like, you know naman, we bought CD Projekt. Example na lang, CD Projekt Cyberpunk 2077. We got in 250, kahapon 365. Ayun, pwede mo i-implement yun sa IBKR. Bakit? Sa ano ba, magagawa ko yun? Sa eToro? Hindi. Nag-search ako ng CD Projekt, wala naman siyang CD Projekt eh. Ang daming kulang kaya nitong platform na to. Nakakabwisit kaya sa kulang. Ang dami oh. Ay nako, ang daming kulang talaga nito. Ang daming kulang. Walang Alpine 4 Technologies. Example na lang. Super duper kulang nitong CD Projekt. Ay, CD Projekt. So, okay, I sold some at 300, 330, and then nag-365 yan. Ayan, so nakikita mo na I'm willing to sell up. So, nadadan ako. May mga posting sales ako dyan. Pero may hawak pa ako. So, yun, patch update yan Cyberpunk. Tapos si Elon Musk nag-tweet about Cyberpunk. So, yun, that's it. Thank you, guys. It's already an hour. Bye-bye. This is the longest 1 hour clip I have. Bye-bye. Thank you.